Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here. Today I'm going to be doing my part 2 of what I'll change about Dragon Ball. Now Dragon Ball, I do love it as a whole as a franchise, but there's a lot of aspects about Dragon Ball that I personally just did not like, and I felt like they could have done in a, more better and more, I guess you could say, natural way. So the first thing I would have changed would be Gohan's power. I feel that I get it, him being a half Saiyan would make him stronger than, a regular Saiyan, but I feel like his, level of potential was way too high and unrealistic, the fact that it was that high up compared to the rest of them, because people talk about, oh, it makes sense, but if you look at somebody like Trunks or even future Gohan from Trunks' timeline, they didn't have the same, potential growth, and if they did, then it would be hard to have any level of threat. So I do not like that idea of them being him being that powerful just because he's a half Saiyan. I don't think half Saiyans should have that much of a potential, difference between biological Saiyans. Also, it doesn't make sense to me how you would cross human DNA, which is definitely weaker than Saiyan DNA, and have them stronger. Yes, I get this. There's more of a psychological aspect with emotions, but that would just be emotional access. Their physical body should be technically weaker since they have half human. Humans are far weaker than Saiyans, so I never got that. I felt like they should have changed up how they did that, and I get it. People saying, "Oh, they try to put him in the main focus." I don't know if that's 100% true, but personally, I don't like that idea. I don't think they should have ever gone that direction in the first place. They should have just kept it as Goku's MC and his son, doing some stuff, but not going too far. Also, I feel like they shouldn't have made him like some nerdy scholar. They could have made him a scholar, but also on part also wants to be a martial artist. Like one half he wants to fight and train martial arts, and the other half he wants to be a scholar. Like he could do both. I don't know why they felt like he could only do one compared to the other aspects. So that for me always felt weird. And then Resurrection of F, the movie, I never really liked it. I think they should just got rid of that because they were progressing further in like the story and the world building when it came to Battle of Gods, and I felt like once when they got Resurrection of F, they went backwards because it was like we're going further in the story, and now you're bringing you back Frieza and stuff. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you sure that this is the best idea to have? Is to bring Frieza back into the fold? Like, it's not necessary. It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do mental gymnastics for just to make sense to act like roundabout. Why not just do write something new? I felt like what they could have done is done like a backstory of the Saiyans, especially about the Super Saiyan God, where if they mention Yamoshi, they could have done like a movie where it shows how the Super Saiyan God came to be and Super Saiyan, all this other stuff. They show like a long time ago with the Saiyans had a war. There was a few handful of good people, and Yamoshi was the leader, and the rest were evil. And they somehow found the Super Saiyan God ritual and did it, turned into Super Saiyan God, him destroying them, but then they end up dying because of he lost his power, and then or he couldn't handle it and he died, because he should still be very powerful even if he lost his power. Like seeing with Goku, he obtained the Super Saiyan God form into his like Super Saiyan, then his base, so he should obtain a significant amount of power to beat those guys. But I felt like they should have done where he's like the power, he couldn't handle it and it ended up crushing and killing him and something like that. Then years later, like thousands of years later, people forgot about it, and then the first Super Saiyan came out and all this other stuff, with the Saiyans and stuff, and how their planet the Civil War got destroyed and left. They should have done a lot of stuff like that. That would have been far more interesting as a movie than doing Resurrection of F and bring back Frieza. I don't like the idea of bringing back characters ever. I know a lot of people like they should bring back Cell and stuff like that, but I don't see the point. Why would you want something old to become back instead of just being, unique and original and having something that's different instead of doing this? I just don't understand the logic behind that. Why people are so set on just bringing back these old characters. They're even doing this for the new movie. They're saying, oh, it should be Cell in there. Oh, it's probably Cell or Cell Jr. I'm like, no, they should make something different. If that's the case, then it's going to be lame. It's just like a ripoff. Stop doing that. Like, be unique. You already did that with Resurrection of F, and you did with the Broly movie. Bring back the old Broly, just changing him up. Like, I'm sick and tired of it. Do something new. So that's what I would have done. I would have just got rid of that. I would not tread on old stuff. I would have gone focused on just the newer stuff and moving on forward. Also, for the Tournament of Power, or not the Tournament of Power, Universe 6 vs 7 tournament, I did not like the fact that they had the Universe 6 had a lot of weak characters. The only real strong character was Hit from that universe. You can say Mogeta did this and that, but let's be honest, a giant robotic character that's kind of lame. Botamo, though he has a lame design, and he didn't really do much. His ability is very powerful. The fact that any attack damage that you give him, his body can absorb it and transfer it to another dimension. I think that is cool. That's a cool ability, so I don't mind that. Kaba, I get it. You want to have another Saiyans from this universe stuff. I just don't care about these type of Saiyans. Like, people have already been complaining about they having too many Saiyans and Saiyans getting too much limelight. So bringing a new race of Saiyans doesn't help out. People say, well, they can give us more backstory of the Saiyan history. You can do that without having a new Saiyan group. I do not like the idea of, having these universes where they have like twin universes. I felt like they should have just made every universe different, have different characters in all those universes. So I do not like that idea of, having Saiyans of another universe, because it doesn't really matter at all. Who cares about them? Especially if they haven't even reached Super Saiyan until they met these guys. I felt like that was lame. I do like the aspect, I guess you could say, Vegeta being, a master and stuff and having a student, but I just don't think it was necessary. It doesn't really help out the story at all. It's pointless. Like I said, if you want to venture out the Saiyan story, you could do it other ways. I already suggested with the movie and doing with the Frieza stuff. There's so many ways you can do it without having to create this entire universe where they create them back again. I feel like that's just unnecessary, and in the story that's not very needed. Also the Frost stuff, that was dumb. At first I was like, okay, maybe he's maybe like a good version of Frieza and stuff, so that's fine. But then no, they just made him like Frieza where he's evil and stuff. I was like, okay, that's lame. And especially since he's a weaker version and less interesting version, I felt like that was even lamer. So I did not like that idea at all. The idea of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, I think what they should have done is name Super Saiyan God, Saiyan God, and then Super Saiyan Blue, just Super Saiyan God. Because calling it Super Saiyan Blue is kind of lame. It's just saying Super Saiyan with the name of the color that the transformation is. That's not a very, cool like type of name. So I do not like that. I thought that was always kind of lame to call it, Super Saiyan Blue. And they called Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan before. They could have simply just made Saiyan God and then Super Saiyan God. So that way you have the monikers in there and it shows the level of, transformation, because technically that's what it is. You have the Super Saiyan form as a god, so that would have made more sense. You're saying he's a Super Saiyan, and then the god part means that he's the Super Saiyan that's a god. And the other one would have just been a Saiyan god since he's just in his regular base form. That could have been better. Also, the transformations coming in, I feel like it would have been more interesting to have it where, the tournament, Universe 7 tournament, when Vegeta won Super Saiyan Blue, it wasn't that special, but let's say this. We don't have Frieza Saga there, so they do obtain Super Saiyan Blue, but off screen, and then when they get into the fight, he goes into a Super Saiyan Blue, and this is the first time we see it. It'll be more memorable, be more crazy, and then we see him what he did to, and I wouldn't have the whole aspect of showing it before fighting the biggest baddie, which was Hit. I would have him use it against Hit. Like, Hit's like, I saw your powers before, you're nothing, your Super Saiyan form, your God form is nothing, and he goes to Super Saiyan God. And then he starts doing some stuff. They could have done more back and forth with Hit and Vegeta. They could have had Vegeta do some more back and forth, and then still had Hit beat him. And then Goku gets in and is like, wow, even with their new transformation, and Vegeta couldn't beat Hit with the Super Saiyan God. What am I supposed to do? Once when he fights him, then Goku could have, done that and say, you know what? I also picked up another move, putting Kaioken on top of it. Maybe that's a little too, right after another, oh, you have Super Saiyan God, now he has Super Saiyan God. Kaioken, but I feel like it would have made Super Saiyan God at least a little more unique. And if it's going to lose, at least it's losing against a new character that we do not know, and it'll be a character who has something, an OP ability like time manipulation. That would have been far, more impressive than just him losing to Frieza, who comes back stronger, which, like I said, it was a dumb idea to begin with. So I don't like those aspects. A couple other things I would change. We had the android arc. Now this one, I don't know what I would do, but I feel like the androids don't really make much sense, if I'm being honest. The fact that Dr. Gero, a human scientist with human, or technology, was able to create such advanced cyborgs like Android 17 and 18, and then also creating an advanced android like Android 16, it does not make sense to me, because Frieza is a galactic tyrant that can destroy planets and arguably move faster than the speed of light. He's able to do these crazy ass feats, and you're telling me a guy who's biologically implemented mechanical parts to a human being will be able to destroy planets and move at light speeds and create an android that can do that. I just don't feel that is reasonable, especially due to the fact that when Frieza did get destroyed, he got his body parts changed out by alien scientists. So it was multiple alien scientists that gave him these mechanical enhancements, and he barely got a significant power up. But this human gives these regular humans who should be far below, Frieza level, he gives them mechanical enhancements, and they go past Super Saiyan at that time. Like, it made no sense to me ever. I was like, yeah, I do not like this. I get it, maybe you could say the infinite energy source it puts in them, increase their power to such an extreme amount. Obviously, there's still a cap off because they would have infinite strength, but they just have infinite stamina. But I just feel like it was dumb, especially having it through their technology. And even if let's remove the Earth technology part out, it's still technology. What material could he make that can withstand their attacks? Because even if you take the strongest metal in the universe or metal alloy and implement it in somebody, that's still not going to be able to tank attacks that can destroy planets. That I just can't buy that at all. I get it's science fiction, but I felt like they went overboard with it and it made no sense. I felt like if he was going to do it, he could have just done. I was fine with Cell being a biological warrior. I didn't have a problem with Cell because Cell's one, at least it made sense. He had the cells and DNA of all these other fighters amalgamated into one, and that's how he became biologically strong. Whereas they're just humans with robotic enhancements, and the other one's just a complete machine. And it's just like, I cannot believe a machine would be able to handle guys like this or be this powerful. What type of material is able to handle this? And it's not like a Marvel or DC where they made fake material and metals that are extraordinarily strong. Dragon Ball Universe does not have that, so he would have to use like regular stuff. Like, he can't. What is he gonna use? Diamond, titanium, steel. Any of those stuff would not be able to handle the punishment that they were able to do. Also, how do you make them that strong, especially compared to Frieza and his enhancement? It just never made any sense. It seemed like too sci-fi, and like Toriyama was like, I want to do a Terminator type of a story-esque thing, and go into a very sci-fi element. But by making it like robots or like enhanced humans, like, that would make sense against characters in another universe that are weaker, but against these characters that this level of strength, especially after seeing what Frieza could do and an alien like Frieza, I just can't buy it. And it's the same thing even in DC and stuff, where you have like Amazo and he's beating up Superman and these other guys. I'm like, I can't buy a machine like, yes, he can adapt to their abilities, somehow he can obtain their straight up abilities even if it's biological, which makes no sense. But even if that's the case, his body would still be made out of metal. Superman should be able to cut through that like paper. So I never liked that aspect in general as a story wise. If you're gonna make machines, do it in a time where they're weak. It made sense if it was in Dragon Ball, but at this point, no. It does not make any sense, especially after what we saw in Frieza Saga. It made no sense. The only character that I felt that made sense was Cell. Cell being as powerful as he was the only thing that I think made sense. And I know a lot of people like the Andor Saga, but I just feel like the writing just didn't make much sense a lot of times in it. So those are just some of the stuff I didn't like about that. What other things I would change about it? There's a few other things. I just can't remember right now off the top of my head. It's just that I feel like there's some stuff that they could have just either just done, we could have done without, or we could have done it in a better manner and gone in a different direction than we went with. I just feel like a lot of these characters that we had were very unnecessary to have in the grand scheme of things. Like, a lot of these stuff, like, they should have gone more in depth. I wouldn't say the writing. Actually, yeah, the writing. They should have gone more in depth with like the writings and the characters and stuff like that. I don't like the Tournament of Power either. I think the Tournament of Power was trash. There was a lot of stuff I didn't like about it. I mean, the Ribrianne and her entire like universe of love, that was lame. Kale and Kefla were annoying ass characters, and they were too ridiculously powerful for what they should have been. Most of the Tournament of Power was full of fodder characters. It didn't really make much logical sense, especially with Master Roshi being able to handle a lot of certain characters. So I just felt like this Tournament of Power, it was either boring or mind-numbingly stupid to the point where it pissed me off. So it was like either annoying or boring. And that I did not like. Only some parts of it was good. The parts with, people like to talk trash about Jiren, but the fight with Jiren and stuff, those were the only real entertaining aspects of it. That, when, Hit fought him, and maybe Dispo stuff, but besides that, everything else was pretty lame. I feel like I would have done the Tournament of Power different. Either I would have done the Tournament of Power different, or just not done it at all, personally. Because I feel like putting all these other universes and stuff, it kind of ruins it. I think I'll go by more slow process, by each specific process and slowly going up the ladder of power instead of just having them all come in. Obviously, they had some universes that are out, but they still showed the best fighters from majority of the universes, meaning majority of the universes were chumps, except for one specific universe that had decent, really powerful characters. But then we even surpassed that, so it was like, okay, our universe is back to being strong again. So yeah, I did not like the Tournament of Power. I think out of all the tournaments, or out of all the arcs throughout Dragon Ball's history, I hated the Tournament of Power. So I would either completely change it, or actually I would remove it. I'll just remove it. I felt like they could have done something completely different. And before I end this video off, the final thing that I would change would be Oob. I never liked the idea of having Kid Buu coming back as a human, as Oob and stuff like that. I just feel like that's pointless, because if we're gonna do that, why didn't Frieza just come back? Why didn't Cell come back? Well, change. Why is it just Majin Buu? Majin Buu is the recent guy they just beat. Frieza should have came back that way. That doesn't make any sense. I do not like making him human and stuff, because especially at the point that now he's out, they're way too powerful for somebody like Kid Buu to be a threat. Unless they say, well, his potential is high and he can go like Frieza. But then again, I don't like that aspect of the story either. I feel like potential should be potential growth does matter, but there should still be a very definitive limitation of how much stronger you can get, especially in a certain amount of time by training. Yeah, you would have a higher leg up, but I think they should train way longer and harder, or do something more unique to obtain it. So I didn't really like Oob. I also didn't like the end of Z. I think they should have never ended like that. Don't have the Oob thing. Don't have him leave his family for no fucking reason. That was stupid as shit. They could have simply just ended off at the. I know this was in the anime, not a movie, in the manga, but they could have simply ended off at the party scene. I think that was the best way to end it off, because left it open ended. Like anything could happen, but right now everything's peaceful and they're just enjoying life. I would have ended it on the party one. At the end of that, I would have just been like, we have a good ending, that's it. But doing that whole 10-year time skip, and then him leaving his family to train this kid that he wanted to come out as a human, and it was like the other Frieza and them should have came, got reincarnated at this point. I did not like any of that. So yeah, I would have got rid of Oob, but especially the end of Z. So that's my personal changes about this. I don't know if I'll make another video. If I have any other ideas, I'll probably make a part 3 of this, but for right now, this is all I would change for right now about the story. There would be definitely more, but for right now, I just need to think about other stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to make a couple more like these. So see you guys.